Yeah. This is Lady Mogul Talk, talking about black excellence. Ladies building legacies, fostering communities. There'll be topics to grow with dynamic heroes. Time to secure the bag, elevate your goals, yeah. If you gotta grind, go ahead and take some time. Free your mind, leave your worries behind. Expand your possibilities while learning new strategies. Every time with Avery, knowledge will be guaranteed on Lady Mogul Talk.
Welcome back to another segment of Lady Mogul Talk. And I know I say you're always in for a treat, but today is really special because I have a fellow CAU alum finally on the show. Britney T. Jones is a visionary millennial who has made a significant impact by redefining the way individuals follow their faith and excel in life. She serves as a transformative speaker, mindset, and life coach, and a source of inspiration for personal growth and positive change. With a remarkable combination of leadership experience in corporate America and a successful track record as a serial entrepreneur, she empowers women through her platform, Best Friend in Faith. As her mission is to inspire and uplift women, creating a ripple effect of empowerment, Brittany is dedicated to helping people achieve holistic growth, realize their full potential, and lead purpose driven lives. Her unique approach encourages individuals to integrate their faith into every aspect of their personal and professional journeys, making her a valuable guide for those seeking a more fulfilling and purposeful life. And I am so excited to welcome you to the virtual stage. Yay,
Thank
CAU.
you. Hi, everyone.
Okay. Oh, don't get me started. Okay. HBCU pride all the way.
Listen,
You
listen,
know,
all the way, all
HBCU.
the way,
Okay.
all the
Okay.
way.
Scene.
I'm that person.
So, of course, I know your greatness, but tell us a little bit about yourself and then also what inspired you to become a mindset and life coach, and most importantly, an entrepreneur, because you can be a coach, but you could also be in the corporate space as a coach. So, tell us all about that journey.
Woo. Well, so as mentioned before, I am Brittany uh, Turner T. Jones. I recently got married, celebrated a year about a week ago. And so that's where the T comes from, just in case. And but prior to, it's just really, I've always been like an ambitious, driven person. Like I remember I was telling my mom when I was younger, like I didn't want to get older and be like, I wish I would have done, or I wish I could have done, or oh man, maybe I should have did that. So I always took the approach is I'm going to do it and then be like, maybe I should not have done that. Learned my lesson, but I'm going to try. I'm just going to go for it. And that's just really been my approach about life. When I started Best Friend in Faith and just really embarking up on, this purpose driven life, I realized that it was the mindset that
Mm,
most of us struggle with of really just becoming the best version of ourselves. It was because we were trained and taught something as a little girl, a seed that was planted that really shaped us into the woman that we were, but we didn't really take on the mindset of, a growth of God, really like taking on the mindset of God. We didn't take on the mindset of that I am the head and not the tail, the lender and not the borrower. It's like we took on the mindset of debt or
mhm,
insecurity or,
mhm,
uncertainty or doubt. And so what made me want to specifically focus on mindset and clarity is because I wanted to ensure that my beloveds, the sisters that I encountered, the women that are called to me and my voice, understand that it starts with the mind. If we can shift our mindset, then everything, our whole life can shift. If we can shift our mindset, we speak differently, we hear differently. Certain things don't even enter into the portal because our mindsets won't even allow us to welcome it or receive it. And so,
mhm,
me, I have been extremely passionate about and just really, delving deep into shifting the mindset. And I believe that through, my faith practices and principles and just really just, living life as a millennial, that I can help other women shift their mindset, then I can help them tap into their purpose. I can help them tap into, who God created them to be, who they were destined to be in their mother's womb. And so that's why, to me, once you shift your mindset, it's like you respond differently. Like when you really think, like, like you think that you're capable of doing it, it's like, okay, even though I might have some doubts and, I might be a little scared, but it's like, I'm just going to go for it. And when I think about my life, that's what I've been doing my whole life. Even with, you mentioned earlier about coming to Clark, Atlanta. So my family some of it lives in Georgia, and then we have South Carolina. But I'm from Houston. I'm a Houston, Texas, H-Town country girl, southern girl. But when I decided to move to Atlanta, I literally applied to Clark in April, got accepted in May, and moved in July. I uprooted my entire life in less than 3 months. And honestly, the best decision I could have ever made. Like literally, hands down, outside of marrying my husband, shout out to you. But the best decision I could have ever made, because it showed me, it served as like a roadmap or a stamp of like, hey, you honestly, you actually just make moves and you do it. Like you really just are that person that just go for it. You might not be happy with the results at the end, but hey, you went for it. And at least I can say I went for it. And when I get older, it won't be I wish I could or I should have. It'll be, I did it. I learned my lesson. I learned how to pick myself back up, bounce back. And now here we are. Here's the end result.
So a great way to start, because you're talking about pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. And so many people stay there because it's what's familiar, but you have to launch into the deep. And I like to say, do it scared, because you never know what opportunities are out there. And even if you take a risk and fail, it could be one of two things. You were meant to learn a lesson, or maybe right now was the time and you can do it better next time. So,
and even when you think about that, like everything we go through is not for us.
right.
Like honestly, even with the failures that we like to refer to as a failure, it was really just a stepping stone for like an even better comeback. So when you meet your sister or another young lady that might not be fortunate enough to have the knowledge and the opportunities that you've had, you can help her. That's where that sisterhood comes in. That's where that community comes in. Like you can help her, and you can actually help guide her along her path. I know I forgot to answer the question about entrepreneurship. I don't know if you want. Okay. So I started, both of my businesses have just literally been, I'm just going to do it. Like literally. So I started Evo Cosmetics when I was 26 years old. So it was a cosmetic line. It was a cruelty-free, vegan-friendly line that I really started for my beloved aunt, who is no longer with us. She had just come out of remission for breast cancer, and the nail polish was eating away at her nail beds. And so she was a girly girl. Like I get all of my diva situations from her. And so, but I was like, well, okay, auntie, I'm gonna start a polish line. I'm gonna create a polish for you. It was literally for her. Like I'm gonna create a polish for you that you can, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but attending CAU, you find a way or make one. Plug. And so I really started researching, and I just started finding chemical-free manufacturers that would literally allow you to private label through them, and they'll build out your entire brand. And so I was fortunate enough to actually know a chemist who then partnered with the manufacturer, and they created Evo Cosmetics colors. And so then I tried it on my aunt. It worked perfectly, and she was like, you need to put this in the nail, like you need to, like, this needs to be a thing. And I was just like, okay. And that's literally how it started. Like just me just randomly, like, I'm gonna do something for it. I was trying to be a solution for my aunt's problem. With Best Friend and Faith, it was a little different. I was tired of searching for my why. I was tired of not understanding what was my purpose here on earth. I was tired of being good at what I do, but not really understanding who I am. I'm great at doing all these things, and people love all the things, but in my mind, I knew it was something more to me. Like I knew there was a purpose driven like idea. When God birthed me into my mother's womb or planted the seed, it was an idea he had for me to execute. And so when I got tired of searching for it, I said, I'm going to create the solution, because I know I can't be the only woman out here that doesn't, understand what her purpose is. She knows she's created for something and something great. And she knows that, God had a great idea when he created her, but what is it? And so that's when Best Friend in Faith came about, where it's just a women's empowerment community where we wholeheartedly embody spiritual, mental, physical, emotional, business, equipping you from head to toe, and whatever that looks like. We are not your therapist. We are not your, we're not your pastor of any sort, but we are a community. We are a safe place where if you are dealing with, whatever intrusive thoughts or seeds of rejection or abandonment, like we change the narrative. Like we change what it looks like to be, especially, with Black women, we change what that looks like. Instead of us gossiping about it, like we pray about it. That's where the faith part comes in. Instead of us, talking bad about you or isolating you, we embrace you and we love you even through your process, because that's what I needed. And so I created it. So I just wanted to make sure I answered that.
And I'm glad you did, because it's the perfect segue into what I wanted to ask you next about someone who is looking to start their purpose-driven life, but they don't know where to start. And you mentioned in your own journey that you were unsure at times. So tell us, how did you navigate through that? And what advice would you have for someone who is experiencing something similar?
I looked in the mirror. We as individuals, we love to place blame, accountability on everyone else but us. And no, like that's a thing. I think that's like a trad or a fad. Like people love doing that. And for me, like I said, I was tired of really pointing the finger. I was tired of holding or blaming my childhood as a reason that I grew up the way I am, or the reason that I respond, the way I am. And so when I looked in the mirror, so many things, God really revealed to me, and he literally led me to certain scriptures to read, like that I kept reading, because, I'm like, okay, Britney, you're dealing with rejection. Where did this even stem from? And how, and why are you responding? Like, why are these triggering points? Like, why are they trigger points? Like, why are you responding the way you respond? And so when I looked in the mirror, I got in my word. When you get in that word, let me tell you something. Like, people are afraid of the Bible, which I don't understand, because I'm like, y'all, bro. I'm gonna say bro, but like, no, bro. Like, the Bible is literally like the juiciest book ever made. I mean, the people are flipping over tables. Like, the people are, they're doing all the things, okay? And I'm like, if you really just read the Bible from a perspective of like applying yourself, like, like really like just seeing like where you can relate to, like the Esther, like a part of me looks at Esther, because I'm like, she wanted her people to be good, like she wanted to set her people free. Me, I go back for my people. Like, I try to bring people with me. Like, when you're looking at the Deborahs, the judge, like when you're looking at all these people, women in the Bible, it's like you really can't relate to them. Or like, when jealousy is set in, and you're looking at Cain and Abel, how that affected, brothers. It's like you can actually relate to some of these people, and then you can see yourself. We're like, oh, I got some work to do. Like, I got some digging to do. Like, it's some self-discovery that I got to, because I've been so busy pointing the finger at everybody else instead of really looking at myself. And so if it's a young lady or even man, whoever's going to hear this, that is, really just desiring to understand their purpose. First, get in the Bible. Everything has to start with God. Get in your word and truly read the word from a perspective of understanding. Like, if you have to keep reading it. So like I tell some of my BFFs, I started out with the Message version because it talks like I talk. Sometimes it says listen, sometimes it says listen, sis. It does all the things. And then I progressively got into, the New Lit NLT or the NIV. And then recently I was like, come on, Britney, I see you. Now I'm at the KNJV. So the New King James Version. The King James Version, we haven't progressed to that version yet. But because the doubts and the shells, I'm like, no. But I'm sorry, I'm a little comical. But serious. I'm very serious. But the New King James Version, to me, is like the most, it gives a combination of everything that you're looking for, but it's as close to the original, version as you possibly can without the, King James Version. So get in your word, truly seek self-discovery, work on you, no longer reflecting from someone else and what someone else did, like really truly hone in on who you are, so then God can give you the clarity on who he created you to be. Once
Mhm.
we start with who we are, once we come to that realization, then he can actually give you the clarity and the help to then groom you and prepare you for who he actually created you to be. Because who he created you to be and who we are, or who we think we are, they're two different people. Eyes
Mhm.
have not seen, ear has not heard. Like we're not even, we don't even think big enough of how God has thought about us. You know what I'm saying? Like we actually think too small. And so once you get in alignment with his thoughts of you and his plans for you, then purpose becomes, like I mentioned the other day, purpose becomes unmistakably clear.
Mhm.
Like it's unmistakably clear. Like it's so evident and so obvious that you don't even have to question anything. And then from there, you just keep living it out and you keep seeking him daily. It's a daily, it's a daily life. It's not something that I got my purpose next day, because the enemy loves to also throw little curves and roadblocks, right? So it's like
Mhm.
it's something that you have to strive at daily to ensure that you know who you are, you know who God called you to be, and be content with it, even if it's not popular or if it's not favorable. Be okay with it because it's who he created you to be, and love it. Love ourselves. That's another thing.
Oh, yes, that's very good. And speaking of what God called you to be, a little birdie on the street told me you have a book coming up. So we are curious about this book and see what you have written in it. So tell us more about this book.
Woo, child. So I have a level up coach. Shout out to Dr. Latanya Moore. She's on Instagram, Dr. D Moore, I think. She's phenomenal. She has been pushing me to birth out this book. Well, one of the books. Now I'm birthing out three. Initially it was one. Now I'm just like, all right, Holy Spirit, you actually have given me books years ago, and most of the time we just sleep on it, right? Like we don't believe in our abilities. Like it's the self-doubt. And so we question, is this the right move? Is this the right title? Like I'm out. And now I'm like, let me stop overthinking it. I'm just gonna put it out there because someone needs to hear what I have. Someone needs to hear my insight, my perspectives, whatever the wisdom that God has given me. Someone needs to hear that. So it can bless someone, right? Because I mentioned earlier, everything that we go through, everything that we deal with, is not for us. It's to really propel someone else to kind of go and tap into who they're supposed to be. So the first book that originally I started was I Am the Answer. I am an answer. Correction. I am an answer. And it came from one of my other mentors. I keep mentors. I love mentors. We were having a BFF meet and greet, and we were doing an affirmation. And I couldn't even think of one. I was just like, I am prayerful, purposeful, and positioned. She was like, no, Brittany, you are an answer. And that
Mm.
thing stuck with me. Like when I tell you, it's like I did the same thing you did. I was like, because I never really looked at it that way. Like to me, I was just like, it's a problem, I'm gonna fix it. Like, yeah, it's not a big whatever. But when you really break down what is a problem and then you have a solution, in between that is it's the answer. So when I really started looking at it from a perspective of I am an answer to a woman that has dealt with abandonment and rejection, because I know what that looks like. I can speak to the spirit of rejection and abandonment because I have been rejected. I have been abandoned. I know what it looks like to be lost and confused for years, because I have been lost and confused for years and don't know my why. And I am equipped to literally speak to the seed that was planted. I keep going back to the seed because people eventually just water it, but somewhere it had to start. So I want to go to the root. Like I want to address the root matter issues of the heart, not all the things that you don't kind of the layers you don't put around it to shelter it. No, let's address the root. And so as an answer, you are the root, you're addressing the root issue of whatever it is. And
Mhm.
so we have I Am an Answer. Through that, birth Dream Again, because here I am. I was having a conversation with, I'm trying not, I don't know why that just kind of got emotional. I was having a conversation with a colleague, and we were just, and through discussions, I was like, I am my ancestors' wildest dreams. I am living out my ancestors' wildest dreams. And even though that sounds like, oh, okay, but when you really think about the life that we're living now, even when you think about just the digital world that we're in now, they used to have to, walk. It was like a, telegram or like the little port, whatever. Like they had to take the mail, physically take the mail. Like they didn't have the luxuries that we have now. And so when I think about, just the opportunities that God has afforded me, even to simple as a graduate from a college, our ancestors dreamed of doing something like that, and now we have people that are, black, especially, the black community that are politicians, that are, leading and running entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs like yourself. Like when I think about that, it's like, man, I am living out my ancestors' wildest dreams. And it's time for me now to dream again. Like it's time for me to dream again and dream big. Have no limitations. Have no stipulations. Like whatever I want to do, I'm gonna do it. And it made me think about, who told you that your imaginations were too big? Who told you that your dreams were too wild? And that's what made me want, that's what birthed Dream Again, because I want to remind not just women, not just men, children, whoever, that you can dream again. And it's okay. And it's okay to actually live it out. It's okay to actually go after your wildest dreams, and of course, all of this is in. So the book is titled Dream Again, Awakening in Pursuit of Purpose and Rooted in Identity. Because identity, purpose, and dreams, they all align. Because when you're dreaming, God, I tell people, God visits us at night to give us instructions for the day. So if he's visiting you at night, typically he comes through dreams. A lot of people are like, oh, I had a dream. Oh, or, whatever, might have had a nightmare, whatever the case may be. But oftentimes he's visiting us at night to tell us instructions for the day. So if we go from that approach, we got to trust our dreams, because then that can open the tunnel for your purpose and being rooted in your identity, so you can be bold enough to chase your dreams. So anyway, we have Dream Again. And then, like I said, last night, I was on a challenge call with my coach. I am now working on a devotional. I know. And the devotional actually kind of stemmed from, I did an Ignite Your Faith challenge with Best Friend in Faith for 21 days. It was a 21-day, and so the thoughts of devotional really came about from that. It steered from that, but the direction changed just in my prayer closet, and really making sure that I'm being intentional. Everything I do, I have to be intentional. And so this one is literally about millennial women, or millennials, seeking marriage while maintaining your identity, because I can speak to that. So it's I do and I will. It's a devotional for millennials who are seeking marriage while maintaining your identity. And the reason that was important to me, because I was a millennial seeking marriage. Now I'm married, and the biggest fear I had was losing myself. I was like, I don't want to get married, and then people be like, okay, who is it? Like, who is it? Who is this? Like, or like, because your husband is top part, he's your number, following chain of command. He comes first. It's like, you don't want to forget about your dreams. Like, and I didn't want to lose what made Britney. Of course, some things have to change, just being honest. When you are a wife, it comes naturally if you're really following after Christ, and it's who God led you to be. Some things you have no desire to do. But for me, I didn't want to lose my identity. Like, I didn't want to lose who I was. I just found it. So I'm like, wait a second, I can't lose it. I just found it. 30-something years, and I finally got it. So I want to speak to those, men and women who are in the millennial age bracket, to let them know how they can, be a millennial, being married, or if you're a desire to be married while maintaining your identity, especially in this social media world, where they have painted this picture of marriage, almost being like a prison. It's almost like, you're behind the wall. I'm like, when you marry the right person, it's freedom, baby. I feel so free. What are you talking about? Okay. Like, I have fun. Like, I married my best friend. So it's like, I want to change that narrative of the picture that social media has painted, that you can be a saved millennial couple and still maintain your identity, and still, go after everything that God has for you, while still having a very flourishing marriage. And so that's the devotional. So those are the three.
Well, you definitely want to check out Brittany's books. I mean, she is on fire. So please let us know, how can we keep up in contact with you so we know when your books release? Because we want to
Yes.
support that. Especially, I mean, all of them are great on its own. I don't even know where to start to add to my collection. All of them, I guess.
Oh, well, thank you. No, that means a lot to me, seriously, because like I said, everything I want to do is intentional, and I want to make sure that it's spirit led. But you
Mm.
can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, all the things at Britney Britney Turner Turner Jones. So it's Britney Turner Jones. My website is BritneyTJones.com, and then bestfriendinfaith.com. And Best Friend in Faith on all social media as well. I try to
Well,
keep the same handles.
and that makes it so easy. Make sure to
Right.
follow Brittany on all of the platforms. And of course, the links will be in the bio. So, Brittany, I have enjoyed our conversation for several reasons. I mean, I know they already know why. Number one, CAU, hello. But you have dropped so many gems for us. Is there any final thing that you want to leave with our audience? Any final words of advice?
Yes, I would love to read you a snippet from the I Am an Answer book. When you are the answer, oftentimes more than not, you'll have to walk through the pain of loneliness. And I know that hurts. So I'm going to say it again. When you are an answer, oftentimes more than not, you'll have to walk through the pain of loneliness. But it is in the pain of loneliness where purpose is revealed. It is in the wilderness where purpose finds you. So stay on that path, stay encouraged, trust the timing of God for your life, and know that all things work according to the good for those that love Him. That's it. So stay on the path,
And
even when it gets lonely,
that's exactly
because
why
it's gonna
you
get
provide
lonely.
the book. Yeah, yeah, it can be very lonely, and people don't understand sometimes your journey or why you can't go to this event on this night, or why I haven't seen you in a little bit. I'm still here, but I have a purpose and a destination that I
I
have to
have a
get to.
purpose and a destination, and I can't. We'll be on that all day, but I can't expose myself to those portals, like because I'm so focused that right now, I tell people I'm so hungry for what God has for me that I can't expose myself to certain portals. Like I can't expose myself to certain entrance and gates because right now I'm. It's like a newborn. Like I was reading up on a baby, like you're not supposed to bathe them within the 2 weeks of them being born because their skin is still they're still developing. Like even though they're out the womb, they're still developing. It can actually cause more damage than good. And so when you look at it from a perspective of a newborn baby, I'm birthing something out here. So I actually cannot afford to take the hot warm bath that us as adults appreciate. I can't afford to have the soap on my body because it's going to irritate my skin that hasn't fully developed. I'm not there yet. I haven't. God is not done working on me yet. So until He gets done, I can't expose myself to that. Because right now I gotta go after what He got for me. Oh
Mhm.
girl, we'll be child.
Okay, so we need to have a part two, is what I'm hearing.
I'm sorry.
No, this has been so great. It's been funny. It's been encouraging. So many gems and life lessons. So I
Thank you.
appreciate you so much for coming on and sharing your words of wisdom with us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you. I'm so proud of you. And I pray God's blessings and longevity and prosperity to come to your direction for sure.
I received that and push
For the
it back
doors to open. Listen, see, that's what BFFs do. We support each other. We push it back. Ain't no jealousy, baby. I want to see you win.
going. Okay.
Absolutely. Please keep going. But thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day. It's good seeing you.
Thank you. You too. And thank you
Okay.
everyone for watching. This has been another segment of Lady Mogul Talk. Bye.